Let me ask you something. What if personal safety wasn't about reacting to danger, but about designing a life where danger just can't really touch you? Today, we're going to move beyond the old ideas of self-defense and explore a whole new strategic framework for what you might call personal sovereignty.
And before we jump in, a quick thank you to the Other Way Marshall Consulting for making this explainer possible.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it with a question. Have you ever felt stuck in this position, this feeling that your only options are to either be a doormat, a passive target, or you have to become an aggressor yourself? It feels like a real choice. But you know what? It's a false one. And it's a trap that a lot of high-impact people fall into. I mean, if you're a high-impact person, this probably sounds pretty familiar, right? You're the one everyone turns to, you're competent, you're kind, you're the one who holds things together. And because of that, you often end up absorbing the stress and conflicts of everyone around you, which, let's be honest, can put you in some pretty vulnerable spots.
And this is where the standard advice just completely falls apart. You hear things like, just get aggressive, stop letting people push you around. But for a professional, someone with a reputation, a career, a family on the line, raw aggression, that just creates a whole new set of problems. We're talking legal drama, social blowback. It's a mess.
So, how do we get out of that trap? Well, it takes a fundamental shift in how we think. It means we have to completely redefine what personal safety actually is.
The answer is this really powerful concept called strategic disinvestment. Think of it as the art of dealing with a threat, whether it's verbal or physical, quickly, effectively, but in a way that just doesn't create any of that legal or social fallout. It sends a very clear, calm message. I'm respectful, but I am not an option for your aggression.
And here is the core philosophy that changes everything. Stop thinking about safety as a fighting problem. Instead, start seeing it for what it is, a logistics problem. See, it's not about winning a fight. It's about managing your environment and controlling outcomes long before a fight could ever happen.
Okay, so if it's a logistics problem, how do you solve it? Well, you need a blueprint. You need a framework. This is all about replacing those chaotic emotional reactions with deliberate structural planning. This whole framework really stands on three core principles. They are asset definition, energy neutrality, and structural stability. When you put them together, they create a complete architecture for personal control.
First up, asset definition. It's actually pretty simple. You can't protect what you haven't clearly defined. This isn't about being confrontational. It's about having a clear blueprint for your own safety by setting boundaries that people just get without you having to constantly explain them.
Next, there's energy neutrality. You can think of this as your mental operating system. See, conflict needs fuel. It feeds on your emotional reaction, your fear, your anger. If you just refuse to give it that fuel, the aggression has nowhere to go. It allows all that stress and ego from other people to just slide right off you, which keeps you grounded and totally in control.
And finally, the third piece, structural stability. Now, this is the physical part, but again, it is not about fighting. Real peace of mind comes from knowing, with confidence, that you can handle physical trouble if it ever comes up. If someone crosses that line you've set, they're not met with aggression. They're met with simple physics and structural alignment. They stumble, and you just walk away.
Okay, so that's the theory, but let's be real. A plan that only exists on paper isn't much of a plan. So let's shift from theory into practice with a quick system audit, just to see where your current strategy might have a few blind spots.
And by the way, for anyone listening who does find some of those vulnerabilities and wants to actually install this new architecture, The Other Way provides a direct path for that. It's a mentorship program that includes 10 weeks of live virtual training, and it's backed up by two 2-hour hands-on practice days to really calibrate these skills for the real world. All right, let's start the audit. Ask yourself this. When someone gets verbally aggressive with you, do you have a reliable, repeatable protocol to stay calm and neutral? Or do you find yourself getting sucked into the drama? Next question. Is your safety plan something you can actually use when your hands are full? I mean, really think about it. Carrying groceries, holding a child, even just looking down at your phone. A lot of systems completely fail this simple, real-world test. Now, this one is absolutely critical, especially for professionals. Do you know with total precision the legal line you cannot cross? Understanding the exact threshold for when physical intervention is justified is the key to avoiding absolutely devastating legal consequences.
And finally, does your plan depend on you being bigger or stronger or faster than the other person? Because a truly stable architecture has to work, period, even against someone with a huge physical advantage. If it doesn't, it's not really a system, is it? It's a gamble.
Look, if that little audit raised some questions for you, that's good. That's the whole point. Because the ultimate goal here isn't just about safety. It's about proactively designing your sovereignty. It's about giving you true control over your environment and, more importantly, your peace of mind. So if you take away one thing, let it be this. What you do in the moment of an attack is so much less important than the strategic architecture you have already built beforehand. That preparation, that framework, that mindset, that is what truly makes all the difference.
And with that thought, a big thank you from the Other Way Marshall Consulting for joining us for this explainer.